session is going to be a technology presentation on creative lighting design for Chroma and Virtual Studio. We have with us a seasoned marketing professional with over a decade of experience in electrical and lighting industry. His core competencies include key account management, business development, market analysis, and customer relationship management. As a business leader, he leads the national head at Canara Lighting, one of the leading manufacturers of specialized LED lighting. Let's warmly welcome none other than Mr. Manoj Lobo.
And so this is a more efficient way of conveying multimedia to the consumers. And also under this system, under this dispensation, you can also provide the signal to SIM-less devices. SIM-less devices are those devices which don't have a SIM card, like the TV sets or the tablets which don't have a SIM card. So this is a very big improvement on the normal delivery of multimedia. The third part, which will probably be addressed in this panel much more, is what is called 5G broadcast offload. That is when the 5G mobile network gets overloaded with multimedia content, then the multimedia content part is offloaded to a broadcast network. So this is another mode. And the last one which we will be now addressing is 5G broadcasting. So what is 5G broadcasting? What we do is that we use the 5G processing power for the broadcasting signal. So the content rides on the 5G processing or 5G platform, and it follows all the norms and rules of the 5G system. And then this is broadcast on a broadcasting transmitter. So this is what 5G broadcast is in a nutshell. So 5G is like a basic layer, and the broadcast transmission is a physical layer. So we have the content in the 5G software, 5G envelope, which writes a broadcasting signal. When it reaches your device, it is a broadcasting signal. So you receive it as a broadcasting signal in the 5G mode. So the result of this combination is that the 5G broadcasting signals can be received by those devices which receive 5G. And the first that comes to mind is the 5G mobile phone, smartphone. So the 5G smartphone, without much change, can receive the 5G broadcasting signals. And then it also, the 5G broadcasting signal can also be received by SIM-less devices and TV sets, as we already talked about. Now, if you look at this graphic, here the smaller transmission stations are the what are called low power, low tower stations, normally used by the 5G broadcast, and the one in the center is the high power, high tower used by the broadcast stations. So the smaller ones are used by 5G mobile networks, and the bigger ones are used by broadcast stations. So you can see that one broadcast station can cover many more coverage areas of the 5G mobile station. So this is a distinction on the physical layer. So why should we go for 5G broadcasting? We are very happy doing our digital broadcast. We are doing satellite broadcast. The main reason to me for going for 5G broadcast is 5G broadcast provides access to all mobile devices that are equipped with 5G. So what it does is it opens up a huge number of potential customers to broadcast services. If we have about 1 billion smart devices in the country, and by the year 2025, half of them are 5G, so you have 500 million, 500 million potential customers with 5G devices receiving broadcast signals. So the broadcast industry can expect to gain a lot if they go for 5G broadcast. And then the second important point is that we continue to access the TV sets. And the two asterisk marks, I'll tell you about later on what it is. And what is very important is that this signal does not come to your device by the mobile network. So you don't have to use any mobile data to get the signal. The signal comes you directly from the broadcast transmitter. So you don't need any mobile data to get the signal to your device. So this is a very important thing. You don't spend any money getting the multimedia. And I can see some heads nodding, and thank you for that. Now, what are the challenges now? Now, we said we want to do this 5G broadcast. The first challenge is, I wish I had a pointer. I don't. Okay. The first challenge is that if you use the mobile spectrum is 700 megahertz upwards. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Yeah, I tried yesterday. No, it doesn't work. No, it's okay. On one side. So if you use the mobile spectrum on top, so the broadcasting transmitter works in the mobile spectrum, which is more than 700 megahertz, and that signal will be directly received by the mobile device, no problem. But if you want to access the TV set, then the TV set has to be upgraded, or you need a set-top box to convert the TV set to that frequency and also do some processing. So that is one part. Now, if you use the 5G broadcasting in the broadcast spectrum, then the TV set will get directly the signal with a small software upgrade, but the mobile phone has to have a front end. That is a device that will convert this frequency to the frequency the mobile phone works. So before we can use for any of these purposes, we have to modify and upgrade the devices. It is a must. The mobile device as well as the TV set. Now, what is the good news is that I have heard from very reliable sources that one of the largest chipset manufacturers in the world, in the United States, they have already made and developed chipsets for mobile phones to be used for services in the broadcast bands. So the chipsets for mobile phones are ready, but they are waiting for the manufacturers, OEM manufacturers, to ask for those chipsets to be delivered. So once the 5G broadcasting services start in the broadcast band, which is most likely that will start there, then the mobile sets can be upgraded by using the chipsets. But the TV sets also need to be upgraded by putting the 5G software into that. So I think technology-wise, it is a doable thing. It can be done. Now, on the spectrum side, you know, some of you might know that the World Radio Conference 23 is going on now. It's going to finish tomorrow afternoon. And the proposals from many countries and many regions in front of the conference are that the sub 700 megahertz, the frequency band below 700 megahertz should be used for 5G services. Most likely, 99% these proposals will be accepted. So from tomorrow onwards, most countries will open these bands below 700 megahertz for 5G. Now, if that happens, then automatically all the mobile devices will be operating below 700 megahertz. You don't have to change those devices, and those mobile devices can straight away use the 5G broadcasting signals. So that is some good news, and let's see how it goes. So that is the introduction that I wanted to give, what the service is about, how it operates, what are the technical and spectrum problems. So with that, I will now invite my panelists to give us a 5-minute summary of what they think about the services and what are the various aspects. And I would invite them to come to the podium and speak, because the audio quality there is not that good. So can I ask Mr. Raghu to please come and tell us about it? I will go by the name in the list. There is no particular order of action. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for that intro, sir. Thanks Thanks for explaining the topic pretty clearly. Hi friends, I'm Raghu Ravindran. I'm from Sankhya Labs. Very happy to be here and be part of this panel. A bit about Sankhya Labs. We are a fabulous semiconductor company. We built software. Okay. A bit about Sankhya Labs. We are a fabulous semiconductor company. We build software-defined radios. Too loud? Okay. So we've evolved to build communication systems, and these systems that use our SDR chips. So we've built for products for broadcast TV, satellite IoT, and 5G NR. I head the broadcast systems group in Sankhya. A bit about what we are doing on the broadcast space. Digital to mobile, or D2M, is a government initiative for receiving digital terrestrial transmission on mobile phones. As you know, video viewing on phones is very prevalent in India. The 80% roughly of the internet access is through phones in India, and about 80% is video. So video is a big hog of the internet bandwidth. So enabling TV broadcasts to be viewed on mobile phones opens up a new frontier for broadcasting. And this will reduce congestion in the broadband and cellular network as well. So from the broadcast perspective, in collaboration with Prasar Bharati and IIT Kanpur, Sankhya Labs is running field trials in New Delhi of D2M. So we are using the ATSC 3.0 broadcasting protocol. This is an IP-based protocol. It's robust because it uses time and frequency interleaving. It is a protocol used in US, South Korea, and it was one of the top 2 in Brazil's decision for a new TV standard. So in our trials, we are reusing the existing Prasar Bharati, the high tower, their existing TV tower, and low power transmitters from Sankhya, and these are transmitting on the same network. So it's called a single frequency network model, where the content is the same and they are time synchronized so as not to cause interference. In fact, there's a bit of an additive nature at the receiver as well. The associated receivers are from Sankhya. We've got prototypes with the digital TV receiver embedded in the phones. It works as a phone. It works even without the SIM as a TV receiver. We've got USB dongles which can fit into Android phones, and with our app, D2M app, it can receive this field trial which we are doing in Delhi. Now getting to the interesting part, use cases. One public use case is alerts, of course. D2M can also do this, and video alerts as well, which can pop up and play. In fact, the US Emergency Response Agency is planning to use ATSC 3 as a backup for cellular alerts, especially in case wherein due to disasters the cellular network goes down. So another one which is an interesting use case is broadcast offload that was mentioned briefly. The intent here, again, since video is a huge hog of bandwidth and a lot of the people are watching a similar content, if the threshold of viewership goes high, the mobile network operator can transfer that content to a broadcast pipe. And if it's a D2M enabled phone, the phone itself can switch between broadcast and broadband if based on content availability, and this will reduce the consumer's broadband costs. So here we are envisaging broadcast as a slice of a converged broadcast and broadband system, and they complement each other. Non-linear content, like what OTT players give, assume a very popular movie is going to debut on an OTT platform tomorrow. Off-peak hours, the content can be delivered to the DTM-enabled phone, and the app, when the video is meant to be available for all, can display it. So, since it's IP, based, a lot of things can be combined. It's not just video. Another interesting aspect, again, we are talking about convergence here. So using the broadband return path, user behavior, the user viewership of the broadcast content can be gathered, and multiple advertising modules can be sent through broadcast, and based on the receiver's application, the DTM receiver, based on the user's profile, what is necessary for the user can be displayed. So interactive and targeting advertising is also possible. Again, being IP based, there's a possible business use case model of over-the-air updates for D2M enabled devices. Now, electric cars, for instance, once they start having autonomous driving, and there's a lot of algorithm changes, safety improvements, localized information. All of this can be transmitted through over-the-air updates and improve safety. It's a bit futuristic, but that is the kind of conversations happening with automobile manufacturers. That's it for my intro. Thank you for your time.
Mr. Ravindra, and you spoke something about your company does, and also you touched a bit on 5G, and we'll hear more about that from you in the ensuing discussion. Can I now invite Mr. R.K. Singh to tell us briefly about what he wants to tell us on this subject?
Our chairman, Mr. Sadhu, has taken you in detail about the 5G. He has rather introduced you to the 5G, how it is going to happen. I want to go in the reverse gear, and I want to take you right from the day one. I don't know, probably as far as broadcasting is concerned, I feel that I am the eldest person in this audience who has seen the broadcasting 1961-62. Most of the people were not born here. And believe me, as a child artist, in the studio, when we were broadcasting the program, at that time it used to be only live, no recording, neither on tape or anything. And believe me, we were thinking that when we are speaking to a microphone means one microphone is there, and we were all sitting around. And I was thinking that when we speak in this microphone, it goes in the air, and it is broadcast. Anyway, that was the lighter side. I started with that. And from there, we have come to the journey of 5G. Things, of course, have changed a lot. And I am a bit lucky that I have seen the whole broadcasting in All India Radio from no technology, practically zero technology, up to this before I superannuated in 2009. But the basic thing has remained the same. And before that, I would like to say one thing. In All India Radio, there are two main wings, we all know it. One is engineering wing and the program wing. And believe me, there used to be big Mahabharat between the two. It's a fact. Yes, we could never see each other. And there used to be many seminars also that time. I have attended.
Engineer-in-Chief of Doordarshan and also of All India Radio, and thank you for your comments. Now I will invite Professor Satya Prakash. He will be speaking to us in the context of content amenable for 5G broadcasting, possible business models, and obstacles in adopting new technologies. You have 6 minutes, sir. Thank you.
5G broadcasting, whether radio or television is not there, it's going to take a long time to come. But the technical protocols from ITU onwards have been approved. So the protocols are there. But regulation, in terms of government regulation, in terms of business models and business innovation, nothing has happened so far. So what I'll do now is, to an extent, some informed speculation. Now, given the scenario where we are in, we are talking of second screen phenomena, where the time spent on mobile device is much higher than the time spent on television. If you look at some statistics, the number of TV sets in our country is 226 million, whereas the number of smartphones in India currently is 659 million. This is last year's statistics. So the number of smartphones are going to go up as we go. And the time spent is also very high there. And we also know from data largely that the driver here is video. A lot of video demand is there. Now, a lot of players are going for mobile first strategies, and it's a meaningful strategy. When Sankhya Labs is talking about being part of direct to mobile, it makes sense to reach these 700 million smartphones rather than think of television sets first, because that's a larger group. But it caters more to live broadcasters in the given situation. The people who are into live broadcasting are news broadcasters and sports broadcasters. For them, it means a lot if they go into 5G broadcasting. Right now, those people who are out of home, those who are in transit, who cannot view television by appointment, becomes potential viewers, because 5G broadcasting can dynamically offload content to broadcast in an IP mode. So in terms of viewership, especially for live broadcasting, you can see a big jump if they can successfully implement this. Imagine IPL. We all can't watch it. You can sit here and watch IPL as it is being broadcast. You are not on television, but on your mobiles you can watch it. So for live broadcasters alone, there is a potential here, but they might have to make some investments at various levels, like Mr. Sadhu has said, and that's going to take some time. So in Indian context, there could be other potential users for them. I'm just giving some examples. Music concerts, game streamers, political rallies, temple live telecasts, film functions, all of them could be using this service as we go, because it comes directly to mobile, and mobile segment will be the biggest user of broadcast services in future, right? So now, coming to the business models, very briefly I'll touch upon them because I don't want to break the time. When it comes to 5G broadcasting, you can see that after bidding, it's largely a duopoly, two big players. The third player is there, who is marginal. The fourth player is non-existent. There are hundreds of broadcasters, but 2 or 3 big mobile network providers who are going to control this. Doordarshan might be there. They might also use government, DOT might be there, not DOT, Department of Telecom, right? So their network could also be there in 5G, but they're all marginal players. So these hundreds of broadcasters, if they want to have a revenue formula with them, obviously the network providers will be at a greater advantage because they control the network. The broadcasters have to use that. So we'll have to see how these things will play out in future, because these companies are much bigger than broadcasters, and how they will let broadcasters benefit from this service. And in terms of obstacles, there are quite a few now for adoption of this technology. At the receiver's end, the mobile should have some additional plugins. Right now it can be a dongle if it is attached to your phone, but as we go, upgraded phones might be able to receive it. So we have to make investments. Broadcasters might have to make some investments. Service providers have to make some investments for this service to become operational. So why it's going to take time for people to move into it. My phone is 4G, it's not 5G, it can't receive 5G broadcast. So all of us will be slowly pushed into it probably, but eventually all that upgradation has to happen by all stakeholders for this to become a reality. And there are other issues also, like some externalities which arise from 5G broadcasting. Externality in economics means the cost the third party has to pay for the business which somebody else is doing. So now these 5G broadcasters have 5G services have come in affecting broadcasters. So there has been news that since the God band, the band between broadcasting and telecom has been reduced to 30, some of those broadcasters in which is very close to this band are getting affected, right? And apparently Ministry of Information and Broadcasting has given a directive to these broadcasters to use band pass filters to stop this interference from 5G signals. Now it's 5G service providers who are getting into business. The cost of that has to be borne by the broadcasters. So this is a classic case scenario of externalities. That's where regulation is very important. You need to have proper regulation which ensures that one business doesn't affect other business. So a lot of policy rules have to come in place. A lot of investments have to come in place. A lot of business process innovation has to come in place for this thing to become a reality. But however, I'll just quickly conclude. The claim is that 5G can cut down barriers for live broadcasts by reducing 90% of the costs for live production. Because they are saying, at least, you don't need to go to the location if the cameras are rigged up, and you can do a lot of post-production from your own base where you are producing it. So thereby you can cut costs on travel costs, accommodation costs for most of the productions which happen. So that could make possible, if the costs of production come down, that more events can go live, and 5G costs are lesser, that's what they are saying, compared to satellite costs. So if the production costs come down, the number of events that can go live can also increase. And they are also talking about how it can reduce power costs and also other related costs of production and done. So hopefully, if these costs come down, probably there will be more takers, but it all depends on the power players in the game, which are the telecom operators, whether they'll let it happen. Thank you.